I've spent my last week thinking about meaning. You know, thinking that maybe we spend our life waiting for a lightning bolt moment of some grand revelation that tells us exactly why we're here and what we're meant to be doing. We've turned meaning into a destination that we might not ever reach. But what if the meaning isn't a mountain that you climb, but the way you walk? What if it's not a grand answer, but just a quiet daily orientation? My mind has been ruminating on some of these thoughts recently. And I think the biggest one that jumps out at me is, do you need a purpose to have a meaningful life?
I don't think so.
That is not what I expected you to say.
That's caught you off guard,
It
hasn't
has
it?
caught me off guard. Do you need purpose to have a meaningful life?
So I say no, because I think meaning is not only what it means to you, but what your life has meant for others. You could argue that your purpose is living for other people. Mm-hmm. But I would say generally, like my purpose, for example, is growing a business, right? And providing for my family. However, if I took that away, my life would still have meaning because it meant something to others. Like as soon as I was born, for example, I meant something to my parents.
So do you think life inherently has meaning regardless of outside influences? Because you are born, therefore your life has meaning.
Yeah, I think but meaning doesn't exist if you eradicate humanity.
Because meaning has to be witnessed? Or meaning is created through witnessing with people that love and care for you?
Yeah, biological, like animalistic life. Mm-hmm. Because a calf means something to its mother cow. And like dogs, when it gets their puppies taken away, it's like it means that puppy means something to it, you know. So, and it could be your meaning comes from the fact that you are the product of your parents. That could just be where fundamental meaning comes from. I think you can add to the meaning of your life by impacting other lives, but you only impact other lives by striving towards a bigger purpose.
But do you think that's a meaning that you embody, or whether that's a meaning that's put upon you? Because that almost sounds like you have meaning because your parents care for you, or your parents have brought you into the world. But that sounds like maybe you have meaning to them, not your meaning. But I suppose maybe the way I've phrased the question is, maybe you are right. Meaningful life doesn't imply
to the individual.
It just implies a meaningful life.
I think for your personal life, for the individual to have meaning, they would need others in their life that mean something to them. So as long as they have some sort of relationship, whether that's friends, another half, even parents, actually, to a point. In fact, no, definitely parents. It's like the connections you make throughout your life mean something to you.
Okay.
But I think, working towards a greater purpose, because the question was, do you need a purpose to have meaning in your life? It's maybe.
Okay, so I think there's two avenues of thought. I'm going to write one down so I don't forget. Thank you for bearing with me.
Boss man on the laptop.
Of course. But I suppose the first avenue I want to go down is meaningful. So let's look at the idea of meaningful. So if something has meaning, it means that it actually adds value, I suppose. Is that what we're suggesting? Meaningful is adding value?
Yeah, or is maybe representative of something.
Okay. So that could be then where my mind is going, like smaller things as well. Like relationships, yes, but community, enjoying small moments, living authentically.
Making a coffee in the morning.
Yeah, meaning can come from small things. Like it gives your life meaning. It gives you a reason to wake up every day. But it can be found in the pursuit of relationships rather. So maybe meaningful, where I'm exploring, is it's more outside focus, whereas a purpose is more, can be outside focus, but it's more what is your reason for waking up every day.
Yeah, meaning I think is external, maybe. I think it's difficult because you can have both. You can have both purpose and meaning.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So maybe I contradicted myself from the start where I said you don't have to have purpose to have meaning.
I think you don't have to, but I think both can
both
coexist.
can exist, yeah.
Yes, I agree there. So a meaningful life, yes, is very much based on sort of smaller moments from relationships, communities, and more, obviously. So then purpose. I suppose the first question for me is, what is a purpose?
Some sort of goal. I see purpose as another word for goal.
A reason to orientate yourself to every day. So it's like your North Star, it's your why. I think that's where I settle maybe actually now, thinking out loud, is your why. You know, so it's something you hear a lot about in like self-development and business, and it's like, what's your why? And once you know your why, you can work through any how, because you know what your why is. Why are you doing this? Well, I know why I'm doing this. It's very clear to me. And you can get past any how if you've got a clear why. So I think for me, purpose is a why. You know, why are you waking up? Why are you doing this? Would the purpose impact daily decisions then? Like every minor daily decision, do you think?
I wouldn't say every minor daily decision, but definitely broad scope, yes, it does impact your decisions on a daily basis.
Okay.
If I'm driving towards 1 million subscribers is my purpose at the moment, that's what I'm working towards. And my why is because why not? No, it's to build some sort of legacy for my family.
But I suppose maybe that's a goal.
Yeah,
not a purpose, because I think a goal is a specific what. You know, so what do you want to achieve? Do you want to become a doctor? Do you want to gain X amount of subscribers? It's a what, it's a clear, it's a tangible. Whereas a purpose, I think, is your why, so it normally can't be finished. That's what I'm landing, is a goal versus
so that would
a purpose.
be like the legacy I leave behind for my family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's
I
my
might be
purpose.
wrong. That's how I'm looking at purpose versus goals, because I think the two are probably used interchangeably.
Yeah. I've always thought of them as the same, but actually I think you're right. I think purpose is maybe your why. And if we operate under that, then yeah, for a doctor, their purpose would be to help others.
Yes.
And for YouTube, the growth is the goal, but the purpose is to, well, number one, inspire and entertain others, but also, if you're building it out as a business, then to obviously leave a legacy for your family.
Yeah. I like the doctor analogy very much, because their purpose would be to help people. How are you going to help people? Well, I'm going to become a doctor. That's my what. The why is because I want to help people. I also think it's possible to use them interchangeably, because there can be smaller decisions you can clear up with your why and your what. You know, like if you're someone that goes to the gym, your purpose is not likely to have the best physique in the world, or your what is not likely to have the best physique in the world, but it will impact daily decisions. You know, I want to be the best doctor I can be, so I go to the gym, I eat well, I do these small things, I read. Yeah. So it's likely to have maybe minor dips or imprints throughout your day. And maybe that's where dissatisfaction comes from, is if you have a clear why and you deviate from what you would perceive to be helpful towards that why, is maybe where discomfort and sadness, guilt, shame comes from.
That would work, because I don't like going on holiday.
Yeah, and that would feel like it would deviate you from your why.
Yeah.
Or your what. Okay. That's really interesting.
I can't believe we came to that conclusion so quickly.
What, of purpose?
Purpose and meaning, yeah.
So do you need, let's go back to the original, do you need a purpose to have a meaningful life?
No, I don't think you do.
But does it help?
No. I think meaning is external. I don't think you're, like, because they say, oh, what could you do to give your life meaning? It's like, no, you're asking the wrong question. What they are intending or implying with that question is, what can you do to give your life more purpose? It's like, maybe you need to alter your why to impact more people, or to leave a greater legacy or whatever, but that's your why. Meaning is, as I say, at the minute you're born, you mean something to others. So I think it's just your existence can mean things to others, but you can do things that mean more things to others, but that will only come as a result of your purpose.
Okay, so having meaning without purpose is community and connection.
Yeah.
Present moment, maybe?
Yeah.
So finding joy in the now and the simple pleasures? Okay. I suppose community and connection is also contribution. You know, are you contributing to the community? Are you an active part? Are you a surplus to resources rather than a drain? Okay. I feel clearer on the idea of what a purpose is than what a meaning is, than meaningful.
I think meaning's more difficult. It's either Stephen Hawking or Einstein that said it. What is the meaning of it all? Is the saying. Brian Cox talks about it. And he says, well, the thing is that the universe, for example, has meaning because we give it meaning. It's like, so if you were to get rid of all animals, like there would be no meaning unless there's other life out there.
Okay. So you don't think you necessarily need to have a grand purpose to have a meaningful life?
No, I don't think so.
And can you have purpose without meaning then?
No, because you can't exist without meaning. Unless you're the only person.
But then you might find meaning in connection with, say, if you're the only person, animals.
The animals would mean something to you. And you might mean something to the animals, maybe. Yeah, that works. And your purpose would be to what? Your why would be what? Just to survive?
So do you think, sorry, I'm going off topic, but do you think it's more important to strive to be meaningful than have a clear purpose? Or do you think it's not a case of either or?
It's definitely not a case of either or. I think having a strong why is incredibly compelling to actually engage you in action. Because if you know exactly why you need to do something, that's a lot more motivating than I'm just going to do it, but I don't really know why.
Okay.
Like me being a bookkeeper, it just didn't resonate with me. It's like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Just get up every morning, turn up. It's like, I don't really care.
So because you couldn't find a why,
yeah,
it made the day-to-day extremely difficult. Okay.
I feel like we also can't talk about finding our why without mentioning Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why. It's the fundamental of all companies that succeed and are multi-generational. It's companies that have a clear and defined why can continue long after the founder dies because the company knows why it exists. As soon as you have a misguided why or you start changing the why of a company, things start to disintegrate.
I like that. So talking about having a why, having a purpose, what are the benefits of having a purpose, do we think?
You're going to hate my answer. Gives your life meaning.
I do hate you. I do hate your answer. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. You've not only made this more confusing in my head, you've made every viewer click away. All one of them. Okay, expand. Validate your own answer so I don't have to pick it apart.
You asked me, what did you said, why?
What are the benefits of having a purpose in life?
So
you said gives your life meaning.
So if you have a purpose, you have a why, then you are also probably working towards a goal, but you have a reason for doing so. Mm-hmm. The meaning is then to the impact that has on others. And our goals, I think, as humans, fundamentally is very community-based, as we've mentioned many times before. And therefore, your trajectory, your purpose gives meaning to others.
Okay.
Like if you, I don't know, donate to a charity, that really does nothing for you in terms of benefits. It might feel good short term, but it's no long-term benefits. Whereas the long-term benefits would mean a lot to the receiver, to the recipient of that money.
Okay. It gives your life meaning.
I said it sort of tongue in cheek, but
It's valid.
it's true.
So would you say that meaning then is a sense of personal fulfillment? If you have a life's purpose, you're likely going to feel more fulfilled.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you can feel fulfilled without a purpose and without a why.
Yes, agreed. And then it's a sense of meaning that comes along with it because you know how to navigate through life. And if you're living a life that feels fulfilled and aligned with where you want to go, you'll likely find joy in the small things, joy in the connections, which then means meaning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it would also explain why married people earn more than unmarried people, and why married people with children earn more than just married people and single people.
Because their why gets stronger.
Their why gets stronger.
I like that. Okay, I'm with you.
Do you have answers to those questions? You put me on the spot. I want to flip it back. What's the first one? Do you need purpose to live a fulfilled life? Or what does it mean to have purpose?
What does it mean to have purpose? It is much of what we've been discussing already.
What was the question that was on there?
The initial question we jumped off with is, do you need purpose to have a meaningful life?
And then what was the second one?
The second one then was, what are the benefits to having purpose in your life?
Yeah. So what's your answer to that? What are the benefits of having purpose in life?
Benefits to purpose. I think it's, you're likely going to feel more fulfilled. You're likely going to feel more confident in who you are. Your relationships are going to be more deep and intimate. When you're aligned with your purpose, you'll likely be more resilient as well. You know, I said it before, but if you've got a clear why, you can navigate any how. So if you know which direction you're traveling and something tries to knock you off the course, you're going to be extremely resilient to get yourself back on that course. So I think having a purpose will make you extremely resilient, patient, empathetic, and altogether not necessarily open-minded, but present. The reason I think it could be is because although you wouldn't have a clear why of how you're navigating life, you'd likely just bumble from experience to experience and just experience it. There would be no real weight to it. There'd be no real grand, profound meaning in your life or purpose in your life, but you just enjoy it. You just be like, yeah, that was cool. You'd just be kind of not free, because I don't think you'd be very free, but I think you'd be very malleable.
Every experience is purely that. It's just an experience.
Yes, exactly. But I don't know what your sense of fulfillment would be. Because for me, a sense of purpose is deeply aligned with a sense of fulfillment.
Yeah, I don't think you can have fulfillment without a why.
No, because you would know why you're getting up every day, so then you'd feel fulfilled because you're working towards that. Whereas if you don't know why you're waking up every day, you're not going to feel fulfilled. You're not going to feel happy, and likely not going to feel content with the life you're living. You are going to have a lack of direction, which is inherently uncomfortable. You know, if anyone's been unemployed without knowing what job they want to go to next or anything like that, it's horrible.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. You feel so vulnerable because you could be knocked in any direction. There's going to be a constant feeling of emptiness that you're just going to be trying to fill. And some people might sit with it for too long. Some people might never sit with it. But I reckon there's maybe a little bit of you've got to sit with it and experience that emptiness feeling without having any distractions, so you can really acknowledge what it's like to not have a purpose. But yeah, I think a life without a why would feel maybe inherently isolating. It would stop you from living intentionally.
So intention, that means you're making the decision to do something. You're being proactive, to use my saying. You're happening to life, not life happening to you. So you need a why to live intentionally. But living by itself gives your life meaning. Is that right?
Yes. It's nuanced. Let's go a little bit deeper then. Let's maybe probe some other questions and see if we can't...
break our definitions.
Exactly. So we've looked at, do we need purpose to have a meaningful life? We've looked at what purpose looks like, what meaning looks like, what is life without either or. So why do I feel lost when life looks fine? So if life is looking from the outside perspective, or even from the inside perspective, fine, why do I feel lost?
I think there's two different ways you can take this.
Tell me.
The first way would be, if your life's looking fine, why do you feel lost? I don't know if you necessarily do feel lost. Because, like, I would say my life's looking fine at the moment. I don't feel lost. Things are going well. I still have my purpose. I still have my why. My life has meaning because I mean something to the other people in my life. And yeah, so it may be a slightly flawed question. The other one is, you could take it, what was the first bit of the question? It was
why do I feel lost even when life looks fine?
Yeah, it's taking fine to mean it's okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But also as in, it's not great. Why is it only fine, not great? So it's like, I'm working towards my purpose, everything's fine, but...
I suppose what it implies to me, this question, why do I feel lost when life looks fine, is it's an outside perspective.
Mm.
You know, like, from the outside, you've got everything you should want. You've got a good job. You've got a career. You've got a nice house. You've got a nice car. From the outside, it looks great. Maybe there's... that maybe what I'm getting at is a disconnect between external achievements and internal values.
Yeah, and your why. Even it could be you're doing something, you're going through the motions, you've got all the things that everyone wants, but you've strayed from your why.
Yeah, I could relate to that in the sense that when I was employed, I had lots of external achievements. You know, I was earning good money. I was at a very well-respected company. I had a very well-respected job. Was put forward for lots of promotions. It looked fine from the outside, but anyone that had more than 10 minutes to actually listen to me about my job and actually probe me on questions about it, yeah, maybe I wasn't living up to my why. You know, I didn't wake up every day going, I can't wait to give people the best holiday booking experience they've ever wanted.
Yeah, I'd be worried if you were saying that, to be honest.
Yeah, this is so maybe it's living by other people's expectations.
I've got a question for you.
Oh, God.
What is your why?
See, I've actually written this down for something to expand upon after the podcast in my own reflective time. For those of you that don't know, we actually reflect after each episode, which is really cool. But yeah, it's something for me to reflect on. I think when I was younger, it was really clear.
What was it when you were younger?
I think when I was younger, it was just to make the most of all the experiences that come to me.
Nice.
You know, just live an experience-based life. But I think now as I'm getting older, I want it to change. This is what I'm trying to learn.
And why do you want your why to change?
Because when I reflect on myself, I know I like to be of service to others. I like to help others. I like to converse with people, build people up. That I think I would like to base my why around supporting people, because that's a big part of who I think I am as a person. Is I'm very empathetic, very supportive, very patient. And I think maybe the first part of my years has been very, not selfish, but like, let's experience my life. Whereas now I think I want my why to change, but like, how can I benefit others? Which is a big reason for doing this podcast, because then we can have conversations to a wider audience and discuss different topics and hopefully help people navigate difficult times in their life. May or may not, don't know how this unfolds. But maybe someone's purpose can't change. Maybe I'm hoping for something that's not there. But I think right now, I'm trying to change my why.
It's interesting that you said that, because your initial one was to experience everything you can in life. And then you're saying that a direction you'd like it to go towards is supporting others and helping others. Well, actually, your job that you've left was that. It was helping other people to experience all the things life has. Wasn't it?
I see the irony. But I think what I mean in supporting others, well, actually, I know what I mean by supporting others is more like emotionally or physically. You know, like I've thought a lot about maybe I'd like to go into like the ambulance service or firefighter or something like that, where it's like you are a clear like benefit to the community and the society around you.
The cause and effect. You can see what impact
I wake
you've
up
had.
and go, why am I doing this? Oh yeah, because I'm making life better for those around me. You know, whereas waking up and going, oh, this person's about to drop 3 to 5 to 10 grand on a holiday. Great, yeah, like I'm really excited for you, but it doesn't fill me with much excitement. You know, I don't feel really rewarded or fulfilled in helping people have that, you know?
So you want to help people on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
Should have seen this coming.
Yeah, you should have.
Should have seen it coming.
What is your why? Why do you wake up every day? Because if I were you, I wouldn't.
It's something I've wrestled with a lot, because the problem is all my whys are very selfish, and that's very limiting. By that I mean, if my why is purely to build something that I can pass on to my kids, that's a very selfish thing, because I'm not going to be able to ever build a team around that why. Mm-hmm. Like employing somebody, what's the mission statement of this business? To make it as big as possible to pass down to my kids. It's like nobody's getting behind that why. What's the reason somebody should show up? So I think helping others is a part of it, and I'm sort of still piecing it together day by day. Because the mission statement I've used for Will Taylor up to this point is to inspire and entertain the masses. And that is true. But I think the inspiration bit resonates more with me than the entertainment. I think naturally the way I present things can be quite entertaining. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of just tagged on. And I enjoy, like, I'm a musician. I enjoy entertaining people on stage as well. So maybe that is a big part of it. So inspiring and entertaining as many people as I can, I think, is helpful, because people do need to be inspired sometimes. Like I look at all my influences in life, and they've all been from people who have inspired me. And it could be through the actions that they've done, whether they meant to inspire or not. Just if you've made a multi-million-pound business, I am inspired by you. But their mission statements would have been something like, I don't know, trying to fix a very specific niche problem and doing it successfully. So, yeah, I think as I look towards my future, it's more things to do with helping out businesses in marketing. It's helping, more and more people find their calling, maybe. I think a lot of people, I think we're at a pressure point in society where people know that they won't be satisfied by doing the 9-to-5 job, but they don't really know how to navigate the alternative, which is doing it for themselves. So I think if I could be that missing link, then that would be great.
Do you know what I've heard from both of us? And I might be wrong for you, but I think reflecting on what I've said, I might be right. Why do I feel lost even when life looks fine? Is you're outgrowing past versions of yourself. We've evolved, you've evolved, I've evolved, but our life hasn't quite caught up yet. It's like an internal mismatch. Like, I know I've evolved as a person, especially these last 2 years, so I feel like the whys and the reasons I had before feel outdated. And it creates this gap in identity, which feels incredibly lonely and incredibly, lost. But maybe it's not a case of it's this all-encompassing, oh my God, you've lost, you need to change something, you need to do something drastic, you need to start flipping over tables to see what's underneath them. Maybe it's just a case of your life is going to catch up, just let it unfold. I might be wrong. Maybe
even deeper than that is our why that we're searching so hard to find, and maybe we're sort of stumbling across it now, which is helping out other people and seeing sort of how, like for me, how I can inspire people and be that missing link. Maybe that was the why all along, and the reason why it feels like a stretch or a big jump to get there is because we've both gone down a different road, operating under a different why, and actually that was the wrong one all along.
Yeah, so maybe we've been navigating under the incorrect why, and now we're just trying to get aligned to the correct one.
Because if you started here and you've been going on this journey and all the time your fundamental why was going forwards, it's like you've now got to bridge that gap. Now what do? Do you go back on that why completely, or do you try and jump?
Yeah. I wonder as well, do you need to clearly define a why, or does it come out in the way you live? You know, do you speak to your why by the actions and the choices you take?
You definitely live out your why, I think, maybe before you verbalize it.
I would agree with that, but I'm going to argue with myself and say having a clearer defined why makes it easier to navigate.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do wonder how many unconscious choices we make that are based on a why that we have not yet defined.
Could be. This is why it's so important for companies specifically to define their why at inception, because especially if you're getting other people other than you involved, you need to have that direction. Because otherwise, what are you working for? Like one of you is going to have an idea, oh no, this fits with what the company should be doing, and meanwhile the other person's got a completely different idea on what the company means to exist.
What we need to do is write down our whys for this podcast.
Okay, what do you think our why for the podcast is? I know we've had this discussion briefly before. You've got it written down, I think.
I haven't got it written down, but I'm going to write it down now.
Yeah.
You can edit this out if you want, but cool. What's your why for this?
I was just piecing it together in my head. I think it is to something along the lines of inspire people to have open and honest conversations that promote personal and professional growth.
To have deep, insightful conversations that inspire others to do the same and hopefully improve their life sense of self in the process.
Nice. So we're working towards the same thing, which makes sense.
Yeah, which I'm not surprised about, because we are talking every day.
Yeah.
Both on this and via text and in person. And if there was a hint of what... Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
What? We would know. We would know instantly. So I think there's a lot of reasons why people could feel lost even when life looks fine. But I wonder if there's a lot of people thinking or wondering, because we've spoken a lot about purpose, is it normal to never find your calling? Because I think there's a lot of people that navigate, and I think I'm going to put myself in there as well, want to navigate life with this assumption that there's this one all-consuming calling or purpose for our life. And it terrifies me, the idea that I might never find it. It terrifies me I might live a life where I'm like, I never quite felt exactly what I was meant to be doing. And I live and navigate with this mindset that I'll know it when I find it. But will I? If I always had that mindset, then I'm always going to be possibly thinking about something else. So is it normal to never find your calling?
I'd actually change it slightly to where I'd say I think it's more normal to ignore your calling. I think a lot of people have the pressures of life, like they need to pay rent, they need to fund their family's upbringing, they need to keep their wife happy, they need to do X, they need to do Y. So I think we push fundamentally what we would do onto the back burner so that we can achieve our more immediate needs.
So there are 2 points, really. Is it normal to ignore your calling? And then is it normal to never find your calling? They're two separate things. So
I don't think it's that you never find it. I think maybe it's you just don't ever look for it because it's not convenient.
Well, I think that's like a bridge between the two. I think you're right. There's definitely people that will ignore their calling in life because they have other priorities. They need to care for people in their family. They need to consistently earn money, whatever it might be. I agree. There's likely people that unfortunately, whether it's conscious or unconscious, have had to push what feels like a calling or a purpose or a drive to the side for the greater good.
Because if you look at both of us, for example, we were both employed at one time or another, and we're working towards something. And that was probably due to either financial pressures or family pressures or social pressures. That no, if you're an adult, you get a job and you work. And both of us, by some miracle, broke out of that. And for me, it definitely felt like I was ignoring my calling. I knew that I was meant to do something self-employed, but didn't have the confidence to start. Mm-hmm. And that's why we've brought out this amazing... No, we don't have anything to sell you. I feel like that's quite common. It's just life gets in the way.
Which is sad.
We never go looking for it. It's like the path is already defined for everyone who's born. It's like you're born... You're 2 years old, you go to nursery until you're 4, you go to primary school until you're, 7, and then you go to junior school from 7 to age 11, then from 11 to 16 you go to school, straight from school, 16 to 18 you're in college, after college you're in university or in an apprenticeship or some sort of work, and then you're in it.
We don't inspire creativity or exploration.
No, or even and the thing is it's very difficult. I think self-employed people are inherently difficult to deal with in society because they're going to try and push the envelope. They're going to try and...
Because by definition, they're pushing against societal norms.
Well, they're trying to fix problems. What is being self-employed? You're fixing a problem and getting paid in relation to how complex that problem was to solve. That's what being self-employed is. So if you've got a class of people who are going to be self-employed, they're all going to have different problems that they want to fix. Even if they all had the same problem, they're all going to have different ideas about how to fix it. And if you remove the institution out of that, so now they're just people in life. It's like you've got loads of people that want to do certain things, but you're also going to charge them all $2,000 a month just to live. And that would be your rent, your food bills, your petrol, all of that stuff. It's like quite a lot of them might not get to the arc on their development journey to know that they can take that on fast enough to where they can pay their bills. Therefore, it's just quicker and easier to get the job that's somewhat adjacent to what they would really feel fulfilled doing. So it's sort of purpose adjacent.
Purpose adjacent. So someone needs to ask, are they purpose adjacent or are they purpose identical? I don't know. Matched. Okay, so could be normal to consider ignoring your purpose, but is it normal to never find your purpose or your calling?
I don't know.
I wonder if the answer is yes.
Yeah, but across generations, I think it changes.
I would somewhat agree with you, because I would suggest now, in this modern age, you have the idea that you could be and do anything, and that is very true. Especially if you live in the Western world, very true. You could become anything you want to be.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it was very linear, and it almost had to be somewhat linear. To break out of that was very unheard of.
Yeah. And it's why they were disproportionately successful in the times. Because there was very limited competition. Now you've got so much competition, but at the same time you've got the laziest generations ever. It's like, as populations increased, actually it probably hasn't changed that much in terms of balance. Percentage balance of people that are disproportionately successful to the ones that are not.
No, because there's more people.
Yeah,
at one end. But I suppose it's normal to never find a singular, all-consuming calling, because you could find fulfillment in like evolving interests, varied jobs, different relationships, deep relationships, rather than like one fixed path. Maybe the pressure for finding one singular path could even cause stress. Maybe
Yeah.
for some people, it's what they need. They need one clear calling.
I think if it's causing you stress to find your purpose, you're ignoring it.
What do you mean by that?
Because it will just be inherent. It's not something you don't really get to choose, I don't think. I think almost your why is like a feeling.
I don't think you get to choose it. No, I agree, but it's hard to identify it. How do you feel about all of these, like, I'll help you find your why on YouTube and all these videos and stuff? There's like the gurus are going to help you navigate life.
I think it's just deliberately making something more complex than it should be. I think the answer to finding your why is just, what do you spend your time doing? I think the best way to find your why is to do nothing, because it's whatever you fill your time with. That's what you get fulfillment from. That's your why.
Have you ever heard of Ikigai?
Maybe.
It's a book, but it is actually a Japanese concept. So, Ikigai is a Japanese concept for meaning, a reason of being, a personal sense of purpose that brings joy, fulfillment, and value to life, often found at the intersection of a few different things, which I'll explain now. Get 4 different circles, draw them 1, 2, 3, 4. They will cross over, obviously, the 4 corners, and 1 in the middle. Top one, what you love. So what do you love doing? Write down everything in the world that you love to do. On the right-hand side, what the world needs, what you perceive the world needs more of. Could be really tangible, could be really intangible. Down the bottom, what you can be paid for. Skills, jobs, vocations, whatever it might be, what you can be paid for. And on the last one is what you are good at. And that's quite difficult sometimes, but you've got to be, what am I good at? What can I do? You know, for me, when I did this, I was like, public speaking, number 1. I can do that very well. And then, in your circles, where what you love and what the world need crosses over is a mission. You know, that's your mission for the world. What the world needs and what you can be paid for is your vocation. What you can be paid for and what you're good at is a profession. What you love, what you're good at is a passion. That one's kind of obvious. But in between all 4, where all 4 cross over, that is your Ikigai. If you can find something that what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for, that's your Ikigai.
Should we do it? Should we do it live?
Not do it live because it's quite a long process. I think if you're doing it properly, it is a long process. But we could do it on a live, which would be cool. But it's a Japanese concept of finding your calling, your meaning, your being. And I love it. I've read the book. I can lend you the book if you want.
It's really good.
But yeah, it's a really cool idea. So I think the idea of finding a calling can feel stressful. I like your idea of just do nothing and see what you fill your time with. I really like that. I like the idea of just take stock of what you do on a day-to-day, who you interact with, how you interact with people, because it'll likely give you clues as how to navigate. And I also like Ikigai.
Ikigai is awesome. I was thinking about that. I like the nothing idea because it's very low barrier to entry. If you tell somebody to do nothing, it's like everyone could do that. Whereas Ikigai, you could overthink it. You could think, okay, what do I think the world needs? Or, well, this will make a lot. Like, I already go, oh, that will make a lot of money. Or that might be a good business idea. Or,
but that's why you've got to go, this is what I can be paid for. This is what the world needs. So what the world needs, you could be like kindness.
Food.
Empathy. Food. Water. You know, the world needs a leader. The world needs cooling down. It could be endless. But it's, again, where it crosses over that creates the profound impact. Because it's easy to tell people what you're good at and what you like to do. You know, that's easy. That's your passion. So that's what you like, you know. I'm good at, and I enjoy doing, snowboarding, surfing. I like those. That's a passion. And then you can sometimes stretch those to be like, well, the world needs more teachers. I can be paid for it, so you can kind of slam it together, but sometimes that feels forced. It's nice to explore it and just see where it takes you. But yeah, is it normal to never find your calling?
It's a difficult one.
This one, I'd like to just expand on ever so slightly. Why does chasing happiness feel so empty? I think I know what we'll both say on this, but it's something that a lot of people have asked about, which is why does chasing happiness feel so empty? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, we'll both say the same thing. We're pretty well discussed on this. It's you're chasing something where you're trying to get somewhere where you already are, and that's why there's a mismatch and it seems confusing. It's like if you're working towards something, you are happy. That's it.
For me, it treats happiness as a destination.
Yeah.
For me, happiness is an emotion. It's not it's not an end goal. Like, once I achieve this, I'll be happy. No. Happiness is an emotion. It comes and goes. You feel it in waves, the same way you feel sadness and anger and hunger and horniness, maybe. I don't know. But it's not a destination. Happiness is not a destination. Happiness is in the pursuit of something as well. So if you're chasing that, it implies you don't have it. It's just even the narrative is poorly worded around it. If you're chasing it, it implies you need to gain it, you need to get it, you need to have it.
Yeah.
Happiness is not something to get, it's just something you feel.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the hedonic treadmill?
Maybe, actually, yeah.
You adapt new pleasures, gadgets, vacations quickly, needing to more and better things to feel the same initial happiness, creating an endless draining cycle.
Yeah.
So, like, you want the new phone, which then fades. You get the new Mac, and then that fades. You get the new car, and then that fades. It's just that constant cycle.
Yeah.
You know, but the unrealistic expectation of treating happiness as a finish line sets you up for disappointment when inevitably, like, life just brings challenges and negative emotions. You know, I think people forget that problems are like a feature of life, they're not a bug.
Yeah, and thank God there are problems, because that's how we derive satisfaction, is solving problems.
Mm.
Is that, you think how easy your life is compared to the generations that had to come up with an idea for a consistent food source? Imagine how stressful that would have been. If you fail, your whole village dies.
You wouldn't be worrying about happiness then. You'd be like, can I eat or not? I wonder as well, chasing happiness, how much of that is like social comparison as well? Is if we've constantly got social media in front of us telling us this is what happiness looks like, you might navigate towards what someone else's perception of happiness looks like. And that could make you feel so disconnected with your own, because you're navigating under the completely wrong set of boundaries.
Yeah.
But hey, we've gone off on social media before, so maybe we'll leave social media alone for now. You know, the UK is looking at bringing in a law, the over 16s law, like
Good.
Australia.
I need that to be in before I have kids. Because I don't want to. I think what happened is parenting was taken out of parents' hands. I think that's really going to help. I mean, yes, you can obviously install those rules, but then your relationship between you and your kid is going to be troublesome, because they're going to blame you because everyone else in their class has it. Whereas if nobody has, like alcohol, nobody's complaining at their parents for not giving them alcohol to take to school. But if you were to take away social media, like, you know,
Agreed.
you just put an age limit on it. It's like, it's really like, you imagine this, like, the scariest thing you've ever seen posted on social media. A 12-year-old has access to that at the moment. It's like, what?
Doesn't make sense.
You imagine what that impact is on a kid's. There's a reason why television stations have like certain stuff they don't put live until after 9 o'clock. It's because they don't want kids to see it. But social media, the same clip can be posted and seen at any time of day.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point in having the after 9 o'clock rule? It's like you wouldn't suddenly put, I don't know, what's his name? Really offensive comedian, Frank something or other. Is it Frank? I don't know. Jimmy Carr. Yeah, Jimmy Carr. Like, imagine putting him on at 6 a.m.
Oh, do you mean Frankie or whatever?
Yeah, Frankie Boyle, is it?
Frank. Someone Boyle, isn't it? Keep going.
I think so.
Yeah, Frankie Boyle.
Yeah, imagine putting him on at like breakfast time.
CBBC.
Yeah.
Breakfast with Frankie.
But that's what social media is.
Yeah.
You know, and you give it to kids who are like, oh, just make sure you watch, you know, appropriate stuff. It's like, yeah, like a kid can be trusted to watch appropriate stuff. It's not even their choice half the time.
So yeah, it's the algorithm just feeding them.
If Jimmy Carr has a relatively tempered joke for him, so it's not too extreme. And they found him funny the first time. Their feed will be full of Jimmy Carr, and I guarantee you they're not all family-friendly jokes, you know? But that's because that's not the intended audience.
Mm-hmm.
But the comedian doesn't get to decide who their intended audience is when social media basically says, oh, well, if they've watched it all the way through and they've liked it and they've commented and they've engaged with it, well, then they must want more.
Yeah.
And it's appropriate for them to want. That's not appropriate, isn't even a thing in the algorithm.
No.
YouTube Kids tried to solve it, but unless it's adopted by all social platforms,
it's not going to work.
But what's the motivation for the social platforms? Because they get less revenue. It's like, yeah, we monetize the wrong stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. Okay, so we've spoken about happiness, like chasing happiness, feeling empty regarding chasing happiness. We've spoken about meaning and calling and purpose. So what's the difference between happiness and meaning?
Happiness is a feeling. And meaning isn't. No, that doesn't work. I mean, they are just different feelings.
Do you think maybe we should swap out meaning for purpose?
Well, they're not interchangeable.
This is what I'm saying. So
Purpose is your why. Meaning is your impact to others or on others. We didn't really define meaning, did we?
For me, it still feels quite grey. Happiness feels easy. It's the present moment. It's that feel-good chemical. It's largely orientated around desires and needs. You likely find it in hobbies, personal pleasures, benefits from relationships like friends and stuff. But do you think, I wonder, like, can happiness conflict with meaning? Like activities that bring pleasure might not be meaningful.
Activity.
I suppose they can. You can do activity that's not meaningful.
Yeah.
Like if you like skateboarding, but your purpose in life isn't to be a pro skateboarder, you can find happiness without there being meaning or purpose there.
Yeah.
God, I nailed that one.
Well, your purpose at that point would just be to decompress.
Yeah.
Probably not your spine if you misland a jump.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
But yeah, it would just be to blow off some steam.
Agreed. So main differences, I suppose, is happiness is an emotion in the present moment. Meaning is consistent fulfillment tied to something larger.
I would just say it's something else's impact on you and your life. I think meaning is really broad. I just don't think you can mean something to yourself.
Okay, so I wonder, bear with me on this. You can have a happy life without it being deeply meaningful.
No.
Like a life of pure pleasure. Just based around pure pleasure. Like how can I experience as much pleasure as possible? And you can have a meaningful life without being consistently happy. Like a parent that sacrifices for their kids.
I don't like it.
Tell me.
How did you start that? You said...
You're going to have a happy life without it being deeply meaningful. And again, I said like a life based around pure pleasure.
I don't think that's right, because whether you like it or not, your life is meaningful to others. If you've got parents, if you've got family, if you've got friends, if you've got something.
So maybe we're talking about intrinsic meaning.
Is there such thing? Does that exist?
Yeah, but maybe that's purpose. Maybe that's the difference.
That just sounds like your purpose and why. I don't think purpose and meaning are the same. But then if you look at the definition of the word meaning, it could mean a definition. So does your life have a definition? And that could be construed as your why.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what I'm wondering. Is maybe the meaning and purpose are somewhat interchangeable depending on what the definition the person is wanting.
Yeah. Maybe intrinsically, purpose and meaning are the same. Extrinsically, different.
Yeah. That's how I take it when I'm looking at the difference between the two, because again, if you're going to have a happy life without any deep meaning or purpose, that life is going to be based on pure pleasure. How can I satisfy myself as much as possible? How can I experience as much as the happiness chemical as I can and avoid as much as that negative chemical as I can? Whereas if you've got a meaningful life without consistent happiness, like a parent that's sacrificing for their child, that's a deep meaning. That's a deep reason to get up every day.
That could almost bring them happiness.
Yeah. So meaning can often come from enduring difficulty for a greater cause, whereas happiness is about the absence of difficulty.
Yeah. I like it.
Okay.
We're getting there.
It's tough to get through them, isn't it? So we've spoken about happiness and it being a bit more small and insular, like smaller moments. But do we think small, ordinary moments can give life meaning or purpose? Again, I think it probably depends on the meaning and purpose definition.
Yeah. It's difficult because we're talking about something that we don't know what we're talking about. Like, there's not a clear definition of what... is there a clear definition of what meaning in life is and what purpose in life is?
No, because I think meaning in life and purpose in life are used interchangeably, but then I think having meaning, giving meaning, has a broader a definition. So I think small, ordinary moments can give life meaning in the sense that it can give life less lasting sort of more lasting happiness, and give smaller sort of fulfillments, like the warmth of the sun on your face. It's like, oh, that's a good sense of meaning. It makes me feel really like present and connected, like the morning cup of coffee you mentioned. But purpose, can ordinary small moments give your life purpose? Probably not. But do we almost intrinsically know what we mean when we say meaning and purpose?
Maybe
we're trying to define an indefinable. It's just something that's felt.
But then how can we talk about it? We must know, like, we've both got the same rough outline in our head. Like, so we know what we're talking about. So there must be a definition. Because we understand the words that each other are saying.
For the most part.
Yeah. I do go off on gobbledygook rants occasionally. Yeah, I'm not sure if my meaning only exists externally is true anymore.
Okay, moving on then, because it seems to have trapped us at one. Can you feel purposeful? So can you have a meaning? Can you have a purpose? Whatever we want to use as that word, without being ambitious?
Oh, God, you just don't stop, do you? They're all difficult.
See, I find this one easier.
Do you? Go ahead. I won't get in your way.
I think it's perfectly plausible to feel purpose without feeling ambitious. Because ambitious, to me, implies striving for larger than life. You want to create bigger and better and more, whether that's fame and status, whether that's career advancements, whether that's building a business. Ambition implies wanting higher profile, higher status. You can have a meaning that is completely void of any status. It could be purely based on giving your family and your friends the best life possible. That's not going to require any ambition to become bigger and better. It's just going to mean you want to achieve the best you can for those people. I would argue it means ambition in the sense of wanting to succeed, but not ambitious in the big reach and status game. That's why I think it's easy. Is if you define ambitious with status, then no. Yes, you can feel purpose without ambitious and status.
When you want something in life, would you call it an ambition?
Not necessarily, no. I'd call it a goal.
What's the difference between a goal and an ambition?
Ambition feels loud. You know, maybe chasing external validation and achievements, whereas goals is more internal.
So if I could say, I want all my friends in my friendship group to understand...
Or maybe, sorry, no, I might be wrong. Maybe, sorry, I know I interrupted you, apologies, and that's my pet peeve, I do apologise. Maybe ambition is the desire and motivation to get you to achieve goals. So goals is the outcome, goals is the targets, whereas ambition is what gets you there.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily the only thing, there's obviously discipline and consistency and whatnot, but maybe ambition is the push.
Yeah.
It's the inner
Motivation.
power. But then I guess it depends on what the ambition is. Is the ambition based around your inner desire for the why, or is it for the external validation of the status?
But you can still have ambition for both, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think the two can coexist. I don't think the two are sort of not related. I think the two are definitely deeply connected. And I also don't think that one's better than the other or one is right or wrong. You know, we like to pretend that one's more virtuous than the other. You know, everyone says, oh, I want to be an influencer. And then everyone looks at them like, what, really? You know, that feels less virtuous than, oh, I want to become a doctor. Good on you. You know, one isn't worse than the other.
Would you still align ambition with only working when you're chasing status?
No. No, I wouldn't. But I think you can feel purposeful without feeling ambitious. Because again, I think purpose is just how you decide to align your life, and it doesn't have to be this big grand goal that you have.
Quite often I think your purpose would align with an ambition.
Yeah, I think the two would likely coexist more frequently than not.
But they aren't necessarily exclusive.
No.
Yeah, I like that. The example I was going to use is, I might say, I want all my friends to agree or to understand my opinion about topic X. Somebody else might say to me, oh, that's ambitious. So that must be my ambition to change something in my friendship group or to get them to understand something.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody else is saying that's ambitious because that's a very hard to attain goal. So that could be like a grand goal within a small setting.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't necessarily elevate my status. You clarified by saying that ambition no longer requires you to be chasing status. So that all works.
Okay. Last one for you, Will.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Small question here.
Yeah. What is the meaning of life?
7.
6?
No, just 7.
Okay.
I mean, everyone will have a different definition. I think that's what's so interesting about life. I think it's just to benefit your community.
Nice.
It's like leave the world with more than you came in with.
The meaning of life is a deeply personal philosophical question with no single answer, often found through subjective experiences like relationships, purpose, happiness, or contributing to something greater, with finding some meaning in faith, connection, service, or simply experiencing existence. I don't like your definition. I preferred mine.
Yeah, yours was... I can't believe you came up with that on the spot. That's
On the
really
spot,
impressive.
mate. Yeah.
What do you think happens outside the speed of light time horizon?
We're out of time, mate. What's your final word?
Bogus. That was
Got him.
another good episode. I enjoyed talking about those things that you were talking about.
It was very hard, though, wasn't it?
It was a complicated, unravelable mystery.